Every day, I wake up and I make it someone else's problem by talking their ear off about space furries. And I'm not sorry. Star Fox Adventures is a game we talk about a lot on this channel because frankly, it has just a really cool development story and there's just a lot to talk about. In fact, there's so much to talk about that on my list of video ideas, Star Fox Adventures has its own section. But I realized the other day, as I was going over this list, that not everything on this list was really big enough to be its own video. So I thought to myself, what if I take a bunch of these small secrets and trivia about Star Fox Adventures that the average player doesn't know, and I just make a video on them. That's what we're doing today. So strap yourselves in and get ready for 7 weird things in Star Fox Adventures that the average player probably doesn't know, but if they do know, then they probably hyperfixate on the game like I do. It's a working title. Small note, while this video focuses on facts about Star Fox Adventures, we do bring up Dinosaur Planet, the game, quite a bit. To differentiate Dinosaur Planet, the game, versus Dinosaur Planet, the planet, I've opted to call the planet by its name in Star Fox Assault, which is Saria. First up, we get some paths that go nowhere. If you've played this game, you might have noticed in one of the early areas, Snowhorn Wastes, there's a cave across the river that seemingly leads to nowhere. There's some little goodies you can pick up, but it feels like the cave should have something more inside. And that's because, believe it or not, it actually did used to have something more. This cave used to be the entrance to another area entirely, the connecting point between the Snowhorn Wastes and Dark Ice Mines. However, when the game shifted to having flying segments with the R-Wing, and Dark Ice Mines was suddenly in orbit around Saria rather than on Saria, this connecting area was no longer needed, so the devs presumably just sealed it off. As you can see here in Dinosaur Planet, we can take this cave tunnel to the lava area at the start of Dark Ice Mines. I would presume in the final version of the game, this is also where Snowhorn Wastes would connect to Dark Ice Mines. You know, before it like got yeeted into the sky. Or at least that's my headcanon. Much like this cave, there are several other paths on Saria that seemingly lead to nowhere. I plan to do deep dives into why that may be the case in a future video series, but for the purposes of this video, I wanted to point out a few more silly paths that also lead to nowhere. Behind the Queen Earthwalker is a portal, which seals her husband's gatekeeper power and... Wait a minute. Husband? Do dinosaurs get married? Is that in their culture? It's another video idea for later. We're gonna roll with husband. We're gonna roll with dinosaurs getting married. This is where you would unlock the power that opens the portal in the sky to Walled City. But in the beta version of the game, it was just a path that fed directly to Walled City itself, or Earthwalker Temple, depending on the version of the game you're playing. But in the final version of the game, it's just a door that has nothing but the power itself behind it. It feels like it should keep going, but it does not, because the devs sealed it off due to Walled City now being in orbit around the planet, very much like Dark Ice Mines. Conveniently, right by the Snowhorn Wastes to Dark Ice Mines cave is another former route to another area via this river, actually. This river seemingly goes nowhere in the final release of the game, but in the beta version, it fed into the Hollow's ancient well, which was greatly expanded upon in that version of the game. These are just a few little things here and there that are neat leftovers from earlier versions of Star Fox Adventures. There's a lot more that I could talk about, but let's save that for another time. It's probably pretty obvious, but I've been watching a lot of Annie Austin lately. The next little tidbit on our list are the fox traps and how to walk around them without getting hit. It's kind of easy, actually. I actually made a video short about this a while back, but apparently it blew a lot of people's minds. You can actually bypass every single one of these plant enemies in the game after getting the Sharp Claw disguise. These enemies are referred to as Venus fox traps in certain guides. I don't know if that's actually what their name is, because even when you walk up to them with the scanner, it doesn't like to show their name, but it works as a name, so we're gonna roll with it. Venus fox traps specifically target foxes, I guess. They must think that they're pretty delicious. They don't really seem to think dinosaurs are delicious though, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense given that there's like way more dinosaurs on this planet than foxes. It doesn't make much sense, but maybe it does, given a theory I posited in this video over here a while back. Look at her. She was so young, so full of life. Anyways, if you don the sharp claw disguise, none of these plants will attack you, as you can see here. They become docile because I guess sharp claw taste bad or something? I don't know. They don't attack you though, and I think that's pretty neat. Makes going through this maze kind of easy. The third thing on our list are the hidden loading zones in Star Fox Adventures. Star Fox Adventures does a pretty good job at not having any loading screens. There are the trippy warp scenes, of course, but when you traverse the overworld itself, there's really not much in the way of dedicated loading screens at all. That is because they pretty cleverly hid loading new areas with these transition spots. Every so often, you can catch the game buffering ever so slightly, but otherwise, they provide pretty seamless transitions from one area to the other. The weirdest loading zone is absolutely this well between Lightfoot Village and Cape Claw, where you randomly have to go up and down a bunch of ladders. I've always wondered what the excuse was for this place existing in the lore, but weirdly enough, I haven't really found much to back up why this place exists. I think it's possible it was built by the Lightfoot tribe, but I'm really not sure. I mean, the brick material and style kind of matches the Lightfoot tribe, but I would have to like dig more into it to really like say anything firmly. On a meta level, it's a loading zone. That's its function. On a lore level, meh. Who knows? Also writing that down as another future video. I really do like that they made these loading zones like this because it doesn't disrupt gameplay and it feels fun. There's kind of a, you know, there's activities you kind of do with some of them, like the one between Thorntail Hollow and Snowhorn Waste. You have to do the like moving of the current, which I know can be a little bit tedious after a while. Especially when you're younger and you're impatient, you just want to like go places as a kid. But I think it's pretty innovative and pretty creative, especially considering the fact, again, when this game came out. And next up on our list is the one that I'm sure you're all waiting for. Under specific circumstances, Tricky can attack and damage Fox. After receiving the flame command in Dark Ice Mines, Tricky has the ability to breathe fire, which you can use for puzzle solving and beating up Sharpclaw, but it can also damage Fox. Now, obviously, you can just order him to perform the flame command, then walk in front of the fire to see this happen. But that requires for there to be something in front of him that he can light on fire, or the ability is grayed out. There is, funnily enough, another way to get him to use the command at any moment, and that is to hit him several times in repetition. What I'm about to show you, I promise, we did in the name of science. We're scientists here. Professional scientists. No triceratopses or foxes were permanently harmed in the collection of this footage, probably. After you hit Tricky several times, he will verbally protest quite a bit, and then he will, without further warning, start breathing fire at Fox. I did this a few times, and I got it to happen as early as 7 hits, but sometimes it was 8 or 9. I tried to count based on the red lines that appeared on the impact of the hit from Crystal's staff to Tricky's, derriere. After Tricky did the first flame command at Fox, I noticed that his tolerance for being whacked with the staff was lower and lower. So eventually it started happening at 3 hits instead of 8 or 9 or 7. I know what you're thinking. at this point. You're thinking to yourself, wait, does this mean Tricky can kill Fox? And the answer is yes. Isn't science wonderful? Fire damage is interesting in Star Fox Adventures because if you run enough or you roll, I've noticed you only take one sliver of health. Or if you jump into water, it extinguishes the fire entirely. But if you stand in place, you take 2 hits of fire damage. That's your extra bonus fun fact for the day. It's really funny to me that the devs thought to put this into the game. Like 99% of sidekicks and kid characters in video games, people often complain that Tricky's annoying and whiny, but I've honestly never really minded him. He's just a kid after all, and he's kind of going through some scary things, like his entire family being usurped, and he gets like beaten up by grunts at the very beginning of the game. I kind of get why maybe he would be one bad day away from going on his Joker arc and like lighting people on fire or something. Okay, time to stop lighting Fox on fire. For now. Next up on our list is, did you know you can actually kill a Sharpclaw's crystal in the vanilla version of the game with no mods and no hacks? Here's how you do it. I also did a video short on this a while back, but I wanted to talk about it again just to spread awareness. You can actually kill a Sharpclaw as crystal without the use of any mods or glitches or cheats or anything like that. Previously, when I talked about this particular trivia tidbit, I did not know there was actually a slightly different and easier way to do it, so I'll be going over that method instead, even though it's like only slightly easier to do it this way. It involves a very silly thing that I learned recently about Star Fox Adventures though, and I had a pretty good laugh because I did not think I could possibly learn anything new about the game at this point. I've just put so many hours into it. When you're playing as Crystal, you will come across this room with a Krizoa statue standing behind a pressure plate, and a few feet closer to you will be a bomb barrel generator. Now, this puzzle is not really rocket science. If you've played any video game at all, you can probably see how to solve it. You pick up the bomb barrel and you put it on the pressure plate. Boom. Done. Except there is something super silly about this room. Do you see that pressure plate by the Krizoa statue? It's a liar. The pressure plate will temporarily trigger if Crystal stands on it, with or without the bomb. It will only be considered permanently solved by the game if you put the barrel down onto it, allowing the door to open and for Crystal to walk through. But it's important to acknowledge the word permanent in that sentence, because if you pick the barrel back up, the door doesn't close again, which is something I had no idea until recently. I thought the puzzle would just revert back into an unsolved state if the barrel was removed, but no, it stays that way, which means you can just take the bomb barrel with you out of this room once the door has been opened. If you carry this bomb barrel into the next room, past the fallen Earthwalker and onto this lift, you can take it to where Crystal would ordinarily release the first Krizoa spirit. However, we don't want to do that. Instead, for this little trick, we want to turn around from the Krizoa head and walk all the way down the corridor where you can find this watery wall. Looking through the wall reveals the central chamber of Krizoa Palace with all of the airlifts. If you wait long enough, a Sharpclaw will walk by on patrol. The watery wall blocks Crystal from entering this other chamber, but it does not block objects from being thrown through it, including bomb barrels. If you throw the barrel and it hits the Sharpclaw, you can take him down in one hit. And Crystal gets to at least do something before getting sidelined for the rest of the game. I miss my wife, Tails. I miss her a lot. Next up on our list, you can steal from the Thorntail Hollow storekeeper, kind of. Much like Tricky, another notorious NPC is this guy right here. Now, if you've ever heard me bring up this NPC before, you probably know my rant about this guy. We're saving that for later because that's basically a video's worth of stuff. If you know, you know. If you don't know, just know there's some real funky trivia about this guy. Anyways, for the knowers, we're gonna call him Storekeeper because that's what the North American version of the game calls him. It's strongly implied at one point that he steals items to put them on sale. And I mean, well, the dude kind of like has a bunch of other people's stuff in his store, like Fox's high-def display device and Tricky's toy ball. So yeah, it kind of tracks. Now, you can haggle with him, but if you fail to haggle in a way he can agree with 3 times in a row, he will refuse to deal with you until you click on the item again and just try to haggle again. He'll also call you a cheapskate.
I don't need business from cheapskates. Get out!
If you have ever been annoyed, traumatized, mad, upset, scared of this guy, I got you. You can get your revenge on him. Well, at least sort of. While you cannot steal the products he has on display, you can actually steal from this guy. He has little baskets scattered all throughout his store. The smaller ones can hold Dumbledang pods, which he sells in his store for about 3 scarabs. You can just get them for free in the baskets. The baskets can also hold scarabs, which is Saria's currency. In fact, if you go to this section of the store that sells maps and you walk into this side room and turn the corner, there's a boost pad that you can use to get to a higher floor where there are 4 large scarab baskets. I checked them twice and it seems like they tend to hold around 8 scarabs total up there, which is not really much, but it could still be helpful in a pinch. So basically, you can just rob this guy. You can even do it in front of him and he doesn't say anything. He doesn't even try to like interfere with it. He just lets you do it, which is kind of crazy. It's probably not the best business practice, but who am I to judge, I guess. For the last thing on our list, we're going to talk about Andross's shadow. Honestly, this is kind of more of a myth debunking thing than actually like a bit of trivia or a secret, but I thought it was really cool, so it's going in the video. If you go to the top of Krazoa Palace and walk up to the Krazoa statue that becomes part of the Andross boss fight, you can actually look behind the Krazoa head and see a very weird shadow. I say it's a shadow, but it looks kind of solid to me. So, what is this thing on the back of the statue? Well, I don't really know. I don't know how to rip models and look them over, and I've not really seen anyone else do that either for this game. Some people have speculated that this shadow is Andross being reborn slowly throughout the events of the game. And to their credit, from this angle in the game, yeah, like it kind of does look like Andross's head. It looks like it could potentially be that. And well, that is where he is in the final boss. He's on the back of the Krazoa statue. Heck, I mean, I actually believed that was him as well. But while this angle does look like it could be Andross, you can't really tell that much, so you just kind of have to speculate. Except there was one problem. I was not satisfied with just speculating. I wanted to know what was up there. So I decided I was gonna find out. So I did some investigating. I utilized some dragon magic. I consulted some technology wizards, and I was able to get better footage of the back of the Krazoa statue's head. This is what the shadow looks like if you're kind of more eye level with it. It could be because of the lighting being messed up, because of the dragon magic, but this area behind the statue's head is strangely dark. I actually had to lighten the image up to get it to be more visible so you guys could like really even see any detail at all about it. The shape doesn't really feel like it's exactly Andross's face, But the lack of detail in this texture and the notable darkness makes me feel like this is something of a placeholder. Maybe the devs intended for it to be an Easter egg, maybe it's just how the shadows ended up looking. I'm not really sure, but it does look suspicious. So, is Andross's face on the back of the Krazoa statue? Not really, in the sense that his model is just constantly there, but like blacked out and dormant. But you could make an argument that this shadow could be where he's being reborn. The shadow itself is not really a smoking gun. I would say the smoking gun is him actually being there for the boss fight. But that shadow is very weird and mysterious and definitely worth bringing up. And it makes for like a cool urban myth, I think. Star Fox Adventures remains such a gem when it comes to diving into weird little bits of trivia and fun theories. Just from writing this video, I found that there was enough content to make quite a few more videos like this. Videos about smaller theories and some translation differences, especially regarding a certain NPC. After I made the Timber the Tiger video, I did get a lot of positive feedback on the concept of doing a Dinosaur Planet deep dive. So I do plan to still do that in the future, and I am super excited to start making those episodes. Funny little hyperfixation, go burr. Thank you so much for watching today's video. For more Star Fox lore dives and theories, hit the funny little subscribe button and like the video if you liked it. It does help me a lot and it boosts this video so more people can learn about these silly little facts. Take care of yourselves out there, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye. The hidden 8th fun fact, now that you watched to the end of this video, is that for some reason, in the Volcano Forest Point Temple, there is a bat that will fly out of the wall and bite you. I don't know why. Maybe it's because he's on fire and he's like mad about it. But yeah, he'll just like fly out and bite you. Anyways, that's your last fun fact. Bye for real.